Hey there, and welcome to another Kidlit chat. I have Kaitlyn Sanchez with me here. Hey, Kaitlyn, how are you?
Doing all right today. It's bright and sunny, my favorite kind of weather. So doing pretty good. I'm trying to like make spring come with my shirt. So
I love that. We had like 65 and it was beautiful. And then randomly it's like 20 and we got 3 inches of snow. So I'm all for spring.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm super excited to chat with you. So you're with Context Literary, but you're also a middle school math teacher, which I find super awesome because I love middle school. So what's your favorite thing about being a teacher?
Oh my gosh. I think my favorite thing is like when you see the kids' eyes light up because they actually understand it. And it's funny because, in middle school, they'll just actually say like, oh, I actually get it this time. But that realization that like they can do it, I think one of my favorite moments in teaching, it was in high school, but it was like a student that I had as her sophomore year. She came her senior year and I hadn't seen her since her sophomore year. And she just handed me this letter and she was like, you can read it now. And I like started crying in front of her because she was just like, I never thought I could do math. And you just kept telling us that we could do it. And you believed in me. And I know that I could do anything now. And I was like,
Oh my gosh.
I can't do anything but cry. Have a good day.
No kidding. Oh, those are the sweetest moments. I
Yeah.
love that. So what made you decide you wanted to be an agent?
Ooh, do you want the long version or the short version?
All the versions.
um, I'll try to like minimize the long version. So if we go all the way back to the beginning, apparently my mom has told me forever that I should be a children's book writer. And I always just chalked it up to, like a mom's encouragement. Like that's her way of saying like, you're awesome. Like you could write children's books, like I never actually took it seriously.
Yeah.
And when I first had my daughter, when she was 1, or I mean, when she was in my stomach, I was making up little rhymes for her. My dad always would make up rhymes for us and songs and stuff. And he's like, one of the best things about having a kid is making up songs and singing them to them. So like I took one of our favorite songs as a kid and like added, it was about a bird. And so I added verses that had to do with the pets that we had, like a cat, a turtle and stuff. And so like when my daughter was about a year old, my mom was like, oh, you should, write children's books. And again, I was just kind of like, that's my mom saying that I could be anything and do anything,
Yeah.
But I had a friend on Facebook who I went to college with that had quite a few kids at this point. She's like, oh, hey guys, I wrote this book, this children's book. Can anyone, read it and edit it with me? And so I read it and I was like, if she thinks she can write children's books, maybe I can too, so it just kind of, and I had a daughter. I was a math teacher. There's not a lot of great math. There are some, but there's not a ton of great math picture books out there. And so I kind of just like started, learning about them. And I stumbled onto awesome blog contests, Susanna Hill's blog contests like Halloween Z and things like that. And one of my critique groups, and I was in about, I think 9 critique groups at the time. I just really liked critiquing stuff. I loved reading other people's stuff. Like, of course I liked them reading my stuff, but I just really loved reading their stuff and helping them, get it to an even better place. And we were like addicted to these contests. And then all of a sudden it was Vivian Kirkfield's 50 Precious Words was like the last one until like the Halloween one again. And we were just like, we need another contest. And so one of my critique partners like, oh, let's just do one ourselves. And so I knew that, Vivian had started her contest before she had actually been published. I was like, we may have no business doing this, but how about we take it to the masses, So we did. And my favorite part was connecting people at the end was, oh, you get to get a critique from this person. I just absolutely loved it. And I was lucky enough to have 2 critique partners at the time that were interning for agencies. And I was like, oh, this is what you guys do. You critique work and then you connect people. And they're like, yeah. And so that was kind of like a little bit longer story than I should have shared, but essentially like, it was like, this is what I meant to do. And like, in retrospect, like I was one of those kids that when you had things to sell for like raising money for stuff, I was always like pretty good at it.
Yeah.
And I remember my sister and I were both in middle school at the same time. We played band and we had to earn money for our Santa Cruz trip. And we wouldn't be able to go if we couldn't afford it because we just didn't have the money. And so I actually raised enough to pay for her trip, my trip, and then there was leftover money. So the band teacher was like, here, you have spending money, so it was really awesome.
Oh my gosh, that's so great.
Yeah, so I did business class. I did a business, like I did a whole bunch of business classes in high school, and I just realized like this, I don't like selling stuff because a lot of the stuff that you sell isn't stuff that people actually want. So I just felt like this isn't my thing. So being able to actually like finally find something that I love to do, and I actually get to use, my sales savvy for things that are good. Like, it's like, my goal is to sell this so that the world can experience it and the world can be inspired and improved and things like that. So it's nice to have kind of just all things come together. So I guess I became an agent because I was meant to.
I think you got the gifts. I love that. That's so awesome. And that's another thing is like people don't realize that agenting is selling. Like you have to sell your clients books. That's huge.
Yep.
Wow. Gosh, what an awesome trip. I need you as a friend.
Let's do it.
That's awesome. So have you had any of like favorite books that you've worked on, like published or not?
Oh my gosh. I have to pick a favorite. That's like saying like pick a favorite child.
Favorite child.
I can do that because I have one. So I do have a favorite child. But I have much more clients and book children. So I mean, I guess probably the easiest is just talk about the ones that are coming out right now because they're all my favorite. So first we have Mushroom Rain, which comes out next week, which was actually the very first story that I worked on. Like, it was the story that Laura queried me with, Laura K. Zimmerman. And so like, this is literally like the first book that's coming out for us. And it was our first one. So it's amazing. And it just got a school library journal starred review. So we've got our first starred review. It's like our first book. Yes, high five, high 10. So we're just really super excited about that. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Laura's writing is so beautiful and lyrical, and her team at Sleeping Bear Press found the perfect illustrator for it. Jamie just literally brought out the beautiful lyrical language in the most beautiful, gorgeous illustrations. And that's Jamie Green. And then next month we have Hattie Hates Hugs by Sarah Havorka, which is just phenomenal. Heather Brockman Lee is the illustrator, and it's just gorgeous, beautiful illustrations. And then it's this, great book that everyone needs just to be able to say like, hey, it's okay to, not want to be hugged. And it's okay to, say that for yourself, and it gives like different ways to do it. And like my daughter loved it. We just got our agent and author copies, and we just used it in practice yesterday. She wanted to hug her cousin, and her cousin kind of looked uncomfortable, and I was like, baby girl, did you ask him first? And she was like, no, I didn't, I'm sorry. She's like, do you want a hug? And he goes, yes, I do. It was the cutest thing, So just a super important book. And again, the illustrations are just gorgeous. After that, I think in July we have Old Friends coming out by Margaret Aitken, and the illustrations again are gorgeous, by Lenny Wen. And literally Margaret and Lenny are just the most humble, most kind people ever. Is it kindest or most kind?
Most kind.
We're gonna go with most kind, guys. People, and they just both like, it's like whenever I get to have a chat with them together, I just am like singing that song, she don't know she's beautiful, right? But it's like, she don't know she's talented. They're just literally the most humble people ever. I cannot explain it any better than that. It's just that song. And then in November we have, oh my gosh, we have Margaret Aitken's Book of Her Heart. It's Brave Like Mom, and it's illustrated beautifully by Bran Kim, and it's so Monica watched her sister-in-law fight cancer and show her daughters through it how to be brave and fierce and strong. And she did end up passing away. And the big thing that came from their family, though, was just how amazing this woman was and how strong she was and how she taught her daughters through this extremely tough experience. And Monica brought that to life in a book. And so many families are just going to latch onto this book and cherish this book and learn from it. And it doesn't even have to be people that have had this experience. Just learning the empathy of people dealing with these different things is going to be such a huge, phenomenal thing. So that's our 4
That's
context
busy.
teams.
That's a busy year, but all of them sound so good. Oh my gosh. And they can, if they want to learn more, it's on your website, right? Kaitlyn Sanchez. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a link. You can go to her website, KaitlynSanchez.com, to see all those awesome books and all the other ones that are coming out probably in like 2023 and stuff. That's awesome.
Even more
Wow.
2023 and 2024.
Yeah. You've been so busy. But then, okay, so we chatted about like your journey, and you mentioned, the contest. So you still do those? Because you have the zombie one, and then do you have 2 now?
3.
Okay, talk to us about those.
So the first one was Spring Fling Kidlit, and that's actually starting. It's kind of sort of going on right now. Essentially, it's like you can start writing it whenever you want, but you have to post it between April 1st and April 3rd. So people could start working on them right now if they want. That one's based on choosing a spring themed GIF and writing a really short story about it. And then the Kidlit Zombie Week is like a way to like revise, essentially. It was inspired by my friend Brian G, who literally his first book that sold at auction was a book that he like considered a zombie book because it was something that he, put away, thought it was dead, and then pulled it back to life. And it's the first book he sold. So that one's like a revision week. So there's not really like a writing contest, but there's a pitch contest involved where you can, win stuff based on your pitch. And one of them is getting a critique from our entire critique group that puts it on. Our critique group name is 6 Ladies and a Man Uscript, because we have one guy.
I love it.
Good. And then in the fall, we have the Fall Writing Frenzy, which is similar to the Spring Fling, except for it's based on pictures, not GIFs. And it's pictures that we provide instead of you get to find on your own. But then as opposed to it being like a ranking system, like this person gets first, etc. down the line, it's a matching. It was like, how did I not know I was going to be an agent? Because I wanted to match people up with people that worked with them. So,
oh my gosh, those all sound so fun. What made you want to start them? Like, how'd your little group form? Just like through being a critique group and just loving it?
Oh, well, the 6 Ladies in a Manuscript, that was actually what happened was, so we have a Slack together, and Jolene Gutierrez, who's actually one of my clients, we were talking about Brian's post about how this story was a story that he thought was dead. And she was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we like all could, like focus on bringing these stories back to life? And we're like, that sounds like a good idea. So just as a critique group, we decided that we would host something because we wanted it.
I love it. Oh my gosh, you do all of the things.
We like doing all the things. We don't like being not busy.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't know if any creative people can not be busy.
Right? It's just insane. And it's like, if I'm not, then I would be binge watching something anyway. So,
Right? Exactly. So what are you binge watching right now? What do you got that's good?
I just finished Bridgerton right after I finished Inventing Anna. So I'm rewatching Gilmore Girls because I needed something like, just like back to the roots, because I haven't found my next one yet. So I just had to go back to Gilmore Girls. Yeah, I think it's probably like the 4th or 5th time in my life that I binge watched it, so all 7 seasons,
Those are like the best. Like we're rewatching Friends right now. My husband has never seen it. And I'm like, how have you never seen it?
Yeah, my husband do that all the time with How I Met Your Mother. That's our go-to.
He's also never seen that. I don't know if we can get him into it, but yeah.
Yeah, for us, it's like a classic. Like you can never not love it, but yeah.
Right? Yeah. I love those. I'm trying to think if there's anything good Dollface just came back, so I'm going to dive into season 2. I'm really excited for Bridgerton season 2 coming out here soon.
Yeah, I tried Dollface, and it was like I watched quite a few of them. I liked it. The cat kind of was a little much for me.
The cat is weird.
One of my friends said, no, go back. You deal with the cat. It's worth it. So I'm going to do that soon. But
yeah, it's weird. That's the show where I feel like you have to watch 3 or 4 episodes and really give it time.
Yeah, no, I really liked it. I love it. I love the idea of it. Just when the cat was just kind of like, okay, can I deal with this right now? And I'm totally one of those people that it depends on my mindset at the time, like whether I
Yeah.
can do it or not. And it depends on the day. Like if it's like been a bad day, I'm like, yeah, I'm not dealing with it. You know, if it hasn't been enough, you know, okay, I can handle it. So
Yeah. Oh yeah,
but
no, I'm totally with you. But I did just finish The Great. I don't know if you've seen that.
oh good. Oh my, yeah, I binged that one too. I was
I
like
love
so
that.
upset and like I wasn't paying attention to like when it said the seasons, like the episodes until on the last episode I didn't realize it was the last episode, and then I didn't have another episode and I was like, no.
You're
It's
just
so
like mad, like, can't you give me like 10 more minutes? Just a little bit more.
it was the same thing with The Witcher. My husband like immediately started
Yes.
watching it. He was like, nope, watching it again. It's not over.
I know. I love that show. We just picked up Peaky Blinders again, and that's another one where we're like, please just keep giving us episodes. I love TV. Books are great, but TV is faster.
I love them both. Yeah, it just depends. Like I just read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and it was so
Ooh.
like I wasn't even watching TV at the time because I was so obsessed with the book, you know.
Yeah, I love those kind of books though, because they just like suck you in, and then you feel like they're your friends or like you actually know these people.
Yes.
That's a sign of a great writer right there.
And one of my middle schoolers, it was out on her desk the other day, and I was like, oh, I just finished that. It's so good. And I was like, oh, she was like, oh yeah, I love mysteries. And I was like, oh, you should check out David Baldacci. She's like, oh, you should check out this one. I was like, email it to me because I'll forget. So she sent me an email. You should read this book. It was so cute.
You have this like long to read list going
I
on.
was like, yeah, I'll put it on my list.
No kidding. Oh my gosh. Well, Kaitlyn, I could chat with you forever. This is so fun. But guys, if you want to learn more about Kaitlyn and all of her awesome clients and her books and all of her great contests and all of the things that she does, go to KaitlynLeanneSanchez.com. We have a link for that in the bio. Bye, guys.